Good morning, everybody. It is May 1st. It's a Wednesday, 2024. We're in May. Man, this year is going by quick. Before I get into my rants this morning, because I have a couple, please follow us on Twitter at DCN Daily Crypto, and the same thing on Substack. By the way, there's two links in the show notes and on Substack for two YouTube videos that I want you to watch. The first one is from Louis Rossman. If you're not following him, he's a computer repair guy, a small business owner that does YouTube as well, and he tries to expose and talk about companies that are doing shitty practices to their customers. And here's another one that pisses me off, because apparently your cell phone carrier, your Verizon, your AT&T, your Sprint, which got sold to T-Mobile, and it doesn't matter if you use Spectrum or if you use like Mint Mobile or whatever, they all use these same towers. Basically, these smaller companies rent space or the bandwidth from Verizon, who's putting up the towers, and so they're all just using or roaming on the same networks. Well, apparently they're selling your location data without your consent. It's not like it's in the terms of services. It's not like you're signing away at it. It's not like it's buried in page 86 of some kind of user agreement. It is something they're doing without your consent. Even if it was your consent, they shouldn't be selling your location data. But anyway, your location data is being sold by your carrier without your consent to whomever. Some kind of data broker who's selling it to your bondsmen, who's selling it to advertisers, who's selling it to airlines, whoever wants your damn data, they're going to sell it to you, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's illegal. Now, of course, they're going to put it into their user agreements, and then it's going to be legal. Well, it's illegal right now, actually. They got fined by the FCC 0.02% of their revenues, which is, and as Lewis said, if you're making like $70,000 a year, it's equivalent to something like $160, even though they're probably making billions off of selling your data. They did get fined, and now what they're going to do is they're going to put it into their user agreements, and they won't get fined anymore and sell your location data. I personally think privacy is one of the biggest issues that we have today between everything that's happening on the internet, the way that we're getting targeted. There is psyops. There are, bad actors around the world trying to manipulate populaces, and they're doing this off of your data. And now we have location data from your cell phone services, your cars, your yada yada. It's too much, and nobody's doing anything about it. It is egregious. So that YouTube video, the link is in the show notes. Next thing I want you to watch is a video from an old friend of mine, Hasoshi. We started YouTubing back in the day, about the same time, around 2016, 2017. And his video is entitled, "This Crypto Crash Looks Very Familiar." And as you noticed this morning, we are down under $60,000 Bitcoin. I'm going to pat myself in the back because I've been holding the line saying that we are going to go into the 50s. I don't think we're going to get down to $50,000, but we could get down to 55 or 54. I do not think that it's done, but the bottom is, in my opinion, almost in. And what's going to happen after this? There is something we have to caveat with this. The spot Bitcoin ETF adds a new layer of complexity to our ability to understand this market. And I have conspiracy theories about this, which I'm not going to get into right now. It does add a layer of complexity. However, we have seen over and over and over again, after the halving, the price goes down, sentiment gets bearish again. People are saying, oh, the top was in. I mean, even back in 16 or 17, the halving was at like $600 something. Bitcoin went over $1,000, and then it went back down. And everybody thought, oh, that's the new all-time high. 1 year later, we're at $20,000 Bitcoin. It happens every time this happens. And 1 year later, we're going to be at new all-time highs. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen this time, because I said we're going to have a new level of complexity, which is the Bitcoin spot ETFs and the traditional markets now in play. And they're in play all over the world. From Hong Kong, Australia is going to have a spot Bitcoin ETF, and so on and so forth. However, this is what we've seen before. Bearish people releasing their Bitcoin, selling their Bitcoin back into fiat. It's getting gobbled up by whales. Everybody's going to be all FUD and boo-hoo on the internet until we go up again. And when we go up and it breaks up, it's going to break up big. It's going to either go up big or down big. We're not going to do this sideways, slow, kind of like deflating a balloon that's sitting in the corner after a birthday party over a week or so. It's going to go down or it's going to go up. Anyway, watch that video so you can have a feel of what they're saying and the data behind it, and then you can come to your own conclusions. Our boy CZ, Changpeng Zhao, who is the former CEO and the founder of Binance, was sentenced to 4 months in prison on Tuesday, and he was punished after pleading guilty to money laundering violations. The judge also cited a statement from Zhao where Zhao said it was better to ask for forgiveness than permission. And by only 4 months in jail, it seems like he's proven that point. The judge said that he was deeply troubled by that statement, but in reality, he wasn't really deeply troubled and he didn't give a shit. That's why he only got 4 months, despite the DOJ suggesting 3 years, and the recommendation was 18 months. I guess it was better to ask for forgiveness than permission. See, here's the thing. I usually don't defend CZ because I do think that there was all kinds of collusions in the back end when FTX and him and Crypto.com, they have the same kind of model. They built up billion-dollar businesses, and it's all the same model. Look, they all knew what was going on, and I think that they all had the same practices, allegedly. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that or not. Doesn't matter. That's what I think. CZ was smarter, and he escaped the entire fate of FTX, Crypto.com with Chris Marszalek. He was actually even smarter and just was playing low-key, and he still is playing low-key besides, putting Crypto.com's name on arenas. Anyway, he's kind of escaping everything, but they're all using the same building blocks of how to make an exchange. Same thing FTX was doing. My opinion, allegedly. Again, don't know when I say that, but that's what I'm thinking. But here's where I'm going to defend CZ. He has always been a stand-up kind of dude, right? He never escaped responsibility. He never shied away from answering hard questions. He never shied away from the public. He always was right there. If something happened, if there was a hack, if there was, some kind of vulnerability, the exchange went down, he always was the first one to go on Twitter and say, hey, here I am, ask me questions, I'll walk you through it until we find answers. He set up funds to make sure your money in crypto was safe on his exchange, and he was never one to try to run away and make excuses for what he was dealing with. Unlike other people like Do Kwon and so on and so forth. He was always there. Even with this one, he said, hey, I'm going to stay in the United States. Of course, he was deemed a flight risk, but he never argued with it. He said, hey, okay, fine, I'll stay here. He pled guilty. He paid the fines. He said, you know what? I did the thing. I'm sorry about this. It's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. He was pretty straightforward with that. And you know what? Give him props to that. That's exactly, in my opinion, kind of honorable. That's pretty honorable, in my opinion. That's a great... That's exactly what you should do, is just own up to the things that you're doing or the things that you've done and move forward. And you know what? I will give him props for that. By the way, CZ is worth around $37 billion. And with 4 months, he could go enjoy his $37 billion. How is he going to enjoy that $37 billion? Well, apparently after he's done with his 4 months of sentencing, he said he called it a silver lining because he has plans in the future. He said, I would do my time, conclude this phase, and focus on my next chapter of my life. I will remain a passive investor and hodler of crypto, and our industry has entered a new phase. I wonder what he means by that, because I think that he knows something that we don't. He noted that education will be his post-prison focus, and more likely will be through the Giggle Academy. And the Giggle Academy, even though I hate the name, is free basic grade 1 through 12 education for all. No revenue, gamified, adaptive. He said, let's make education accessible and entertaining to children around the world. I don't know why education isn't free anyway. It should be free across the world. Education is very, very important and good for him. Use that $37 billion. Make education fun, gamified, make it free for people, and let's educate populaces. However, let me go back to my conspiracy theory. My tinfoil hat is in the corner here. Let me put it on really quick. Our industry has entered a new phase. In the court documents, there were some redacted parts. I can't find them again. I saw them yesterday, but I can't find them again. They will come up, but it looks like there were redacted parts, and people are asking why only 4 months. I think he played ball with the DOJ. I think he played ball with different things around the world. I think he played ball with FTX. I think he played ball with some kind of money laundering, fraud, opening the books to different people who are evading taxes, and so on and so forth. I just think that he was very compliant to anything that was requested of him. He gave them the information, and for that, even though they asked for 3 years, they backdoored and said, hey, judge, just be good to this guy because, we have to ask for 3 years or else we're going to look like we are, conspiring with CZ, but just give him 4 months and let's get this over with. That's my opinion. Speaking of somebody that should be in jail, SEC Chair Gary Gensler. Anyway, the chairman of the House Financial Service Committee, Patrick McHenry, is calling out Gary Gare. He's accusing Gary from having misled Congress regarding to the agency's stance on Ethereum. McHenry's comments come following the revelation that the SEC has eternally considered Ethereum as an unregistered security for over a year. And this new evidence shows that Chair Gensler misled Congress. This new court filing shows that it was an intentional attempt to misrepresent the commission's position, said McHenry. The SEC's public words and private actions on Ethereum is an example of the arbitrary and capricious nature of the SEC's regulation by enforcement approach to digital assets. And finally, Roger Ver. If you guys don't know who Roger Ver is, he is dubbed Bitcoin Jesus. He was very much in the spotlight back in 2017, but he is one of the lead culprits of forking Bitcoin to make Bitcoin Cash and starting the fork wars and the block size wars or whatever the hell they were called. And that's why we have BSV and BCH and all kinds of other Bitcoin spin-offs. Anyway, well, he's in trouble. Apparently, he's alleged to have caused a loss of $48 million to the IRS. Why? Because the DOJ believes that he lied to the IRS about how much Bitcoin he really owned. And so they're going after him, and he was arrested in Spain. Now let's get into those crypto prices.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
And the time is 9:55 a.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. Fear of greed is at 52. We're on neutral, and we are trending toward fearful because Bitcoin's sitting at 57,000. I couldn't even say that the 5 in there because we've been saying 6s and 7s for so long, but we're at $57,355, down 5.9% in 24, 13.2 in 7. It is bloody. Ethereum's at $2,891, down 3.4%, or 11% in 7. Tether's number 3, Binance, is at $548, really holding its own, by the way. It's down 2.3% in 24, or 10% in 7. And Solana is just a dumpster fire. It's at $123, down 3.5% in 24, or 22% in 7. Running off the top 10, we have USDC, XRP, Dogecoin, down 7% in 24, or 22% in 7. Toncoin at $472, down 9.3% in 24, or 17% in 7. And Cardano, which is actually up 2.4% in 24. The total market cap is still over $2 trillion at $2.14 trillion, down 4.6% in 24. A Bitcoin dominance of 52.9 and an ETH dominance of 16.5. And that was our show today. And obviously, I'm going to say, this is just part of the cycle. Now, could we go straight down from here? Yes. Back down to $20,000 Bitcoin? No, I don't think so. But we could go down and then sideways for a long time, and we could have missed the bull market. Maybe the bull market was the high of $74,000. If that was the case, the market has completely changed, and we have no clue what's going on. But I think this is following the same pattern as before. I'm not worried about it. I think we're going to go down. We're going to level off around 55, or maybe even touch 55, 54, and then go sideways a little bit longer, and then we will have the breakout moment. That breakout moment is going to be from 55 to 45, or 40, or 55 to 70, 80, 90. We will see. And until tomorrow, happy hodling, everyone. By the way, not financial advice.